It is not albinism. It is not a cancer. It is not witchcraft. It is not that one has HIV/AIDS. It is not contagious. Does not spread through close contact, touching or sharing personal items. No way is it linked to being burnt by twins. It is called vitiligo.
Vitiligo Association of Uganda is a non-profit organization committed to providing psychosocial support, fighting challenges related to trauma, segregation, and isolation by both society and family members to people living with vitiligo. Today, we have a chat with the Acting Executive Director of Vitiligo Association of Uganda.
I'm Eva Atukunda. I'm the Acting Executive Director for Vitiligo Association of Uganda. I'm 32 years old and I got vitiligo when I was 10. So I've lived with vitiligo for 22 years. Vitiligo is a skin disorder or a skin condition where white patches appear on the skin. So it happens in a way that someone loses melanin on some parts. The melanocytes die and then you develop white patches like you see. Living with vitiligo has been sometimes challenging when I got older. But when I was younger, it was a bit, okay. But as you get older, you start becoming self-conscious. So definitely you feel the difference, you feel the stigma around you. Even yourself, you start self-stigmatizing and feeling a bit less confident. But of course, when you get support, when you have external support from other people, for example, parents, sisters, friends, it becomes easier. And then when you become part of a family, for example, for me, I found Vitiligo Association of Uganda. So it became much, much easier for me to live with vitiligo. Vitiligo Association of Uganda was started to bring together people living with vitiligo in Uganda, to bring them together, to find solutions for the disease. And then also unite people and form like a family. Many people, even those who have vitiligo, don't know that they have vitiligo. So the association was formed to disseminate information about vitiligo, then also reach out to people with vitiligo and then give them that support, have a support, then fight stigma, and then give psychosocial support basically. You see, when we meet people in their communities, usually they are isolated. They either isolate themselves or they are isolated by the communities. Or they just feel they're not confident enough to mix with other people, So when we meet those people, and you know what it's like when you meet someone who is like you feel like you belong. So by the time someone leaves, they're like, I'm not alone, there is someone else like me. And they're living happily, and they are, going out and doing these different things. So it means when we meet with those people and then they go back to their communities, there is a change because this person gains at least a little bit of confidence. It might not happen there and then, but with time, the more we reach out to them, the more we talk to someone, they keep regaining their confidence and then they live happily. Here at office, for example, you've seen my colleague Penina. So for her, she has generalized vitiligo. Mine is a bit less. And then definitely when we meet people, we usually go at least 2 people. So the team of 2 people or 3, depending on who is available. So when we make outreaches, you're able to see people that are different. So you're able to see someone who is either close to you or worse than you, or you get a different picture of what vitiligo is. And then also, it doesn't matter, I think, how widespread your vitiligo is. Either way, I might just have it on my hands, but it doesn't mean I might go to shake someone's hand and they, take away their hands. So if something like that has happened to me, and I tell you something like that has happened to me, it means that person will be like, we face the same challenges somehow. So they somehow get close. As long as I have the same condition, people still understand. There is one time, I don't know, I talk about it a lot because it was the one time I felt so insignificant in my life. I was in a taxi when I was at university, and then there were two women seated close to each other, and then they started talking about me. So at the time, yes, we used to hear abalongo bakocha, abalongo bakakosya, but you know, you don't understand what it means. So these ladies started explaining what abalongo bakocha means. So like, ono mulongo bamocha. You know what? How they ban you is because either she ate a body part of twins, or she ate an umbilical cord of twins, or iwabwe basezi. You know what basezi are? There are people that eat, you know, human beings. So, and you know, like, people of course had seen me and they were curious, and I had vitiligo then, like, around my eyes. So people were curious, they turned, and you know, everyone in the taxi is looking at you, and then they're like, everyone is asking, and then the whole taxi, the conductors, you know, for them, they never keep quiet. So they started talking. Say, you know, like that kind of conversation. And some people, I think, thought they were being funny, but at my expense. So I had no option rather than get out of the taxi. I just stopped before I reached my destination because I was so uncomfortable. And from that time, I remember I went downtown. There is that place, Gazaland, where they sell a lot of makeup on the streets. I bought all types of makeup. I didn't even know what they were called. And from that time, I started wearing makeup around my eyes. I would never go out without makeup because I did not want to be in a situation where people were just judging me because of my appearance. I mean, someone calls you Amstezi because, you know, it was heartbreaking for me at that time. At the moment, we have around 250 members, the registered members. But then we have people that we know, people that call in that have not yet really subscribed for membership, but we do outreaches and then we register them for membership. But so far, the registered members are 250. Some of our achievements, for example, we've met kids that have dropped out of school because they've been bullied or isolated or discriminated against, and they decided to drop out of school. So at least we've managed to put 2 back in school, and then we are supporting them in school. So we pay their tuition, make sure they have books and have all that. They were younger, so they're still in primary school. So we support them like that. Also, there are our members we found that could not even leave the house, you know. The members that could not leave the house, literally. You find someone has even become lame because they can't leave the house. So we've met those people, talked to them, got for them counselors, and then they are doing better. So those are some of our achievements. Also, most of our members, by the time we meet them, they're in a depressed state. They are somehow suffering from depression. Depends the level of depression, but there are those you find at that peak of depression and those that are really stressed and getting there. So when you meet someone and then you're able to change their lives, you know, they start feeling good about themselves, it means a lot. And that is what we aim for them to feel good about themselves and know that you're enough and you're beautiful the way you are. As an association, there are so many challenges. One is that vitiligo is not known. Like, there is this myth that abalongo bakocha, period. I mean, when we got vitiligo, you would even go to hospital and they tell you abalongo bakocha. Sometimes we go to these districts and you go to a DHO to ask if there are any interventions for people living with vitiligo. They are like, those ones, you mean that is a disease? Those ones were burnt by twins. So you find, like, even the medical personnel, most of them do not know that it's a medical condition, you know. And then there is very little research that has been done about vitiligo. So if you do not do any research about a condition, it means you're not going to get treatment and a cure for it. Also, the available dermatologists are quite expensive. I mean, you find consultation is like 70,000. How many people can afford consultation of 70,000? The ones that are on the cheap end charge around 50,000. And then that is minus the treatments, by the way, because there are treatments that help, and vitiligo, you know, can go especially in areas around the face. There are some areas when you go to a dermatologist, they'll tell you if you follow this and this and this, you know, you get fine, but they are quite expensive. You can afford it for maybe 1 month. After that, you find you cannot go anymore. And then, you know, you drop out of the treatment, whatever. So there is no research, the treatment is expensive. Then there is lack of information. Like, even the people living with vitiligo don't know what they're suffering from. So there is someone, like there is a village you went to, other people with vitiligo instinctively knew they had HIV. Not because they've tested and they found they are positive. No, because when they got vitiligo, they told them you're HIV positive. And they believed they were positive. So they've never tested, but they believe they are positive, you know. So there is little information. Others believe they've been, you know, they've been cast, so they will not associate with people because they've been cast. You find parents abandoning their own children because they told them these children are cast, they will bring ghosts to you, and you know. And then also now, because you know vitiligo is in a way, because there is so little information about it and people are desperate, you know. So there are all these quack doctors. There are so many. Meet the real doctors that went to school and studied medicine. There are also quacks among them. Then there are also those herbalists, then witch doctors. I know if you ask any person living with vitiligo, they'll tell you they've been conned not less than 5 times at least. They've told them this, they'll send you to this. Every time actually you move around town, just moving around Kampala town, you'll meet at least 2 people that are recommending someone to you. And then you find that things are expensive and they don't work. And you've spent a lot of money because before you even finish this, there is someone else directing you to something else. You get. This soap will help you, this herb will help you, this manya is because you have manya, those inborn what, so many things there. There are different treatment options. Personally, I use tropical tubes, very expensive. So, and then also they are not guaranteed, you know. Like I said, vitiligo varies from person to person. So for me, I use tropical tubes. I use them especially when I have like vitiligo around my eyes and my nose. So I apply those tubes and then it will disappear. But then I was told my vitiligo is unstable, meaning even when it disappears, it will come back. So meaning you'll have to again, you know, definitely it's going to come back, you know, it's going to come back. And then also I used to do light therapy, you know, you go, they put you in the UV lights and all that. So the combination of UV lights and tropical treatments. And then there are other people, for example, like I said, it varies. There are people who will tell you, me when my vitiligo came, I applied aloe vera, just aloe vera, and it went. And it never came back. But me, even if I just scrubbed the whole tree of aloe vera on myself, it will, nothing changes, not even like a black spot appearing. But then it happens for people. There are people that heal and not cured, they just heal. Because you find someone, say if they had vitiligo in the head, you find now there is just gray hair. You know, they got healed, but there is still gray hair somewhere on the body part. But the treatments usually involve the UV lights, then this targeted treatment. Then there is a phototherapy. There is those tropical tubes, and then also dieting, like you said. There are people, for example, we have a person who shared, one of our members. For him, it's a lot of orange and yellow vegetables. And then his vitiligo has improved greatly. But then someone else will do the same because I tried it and it did not work for me. There was no really improvement. But you try what they tell you. If you see something has worked for someone, of course you're always tempted to try it, and we keep trying those things. So, but the main thing we as an association, of course, we are trying to promote self-love. Love yourself, you're beautiful in your skin, you know. And then of course when we go out there and meet our members, we give them sunscreens to protect them. We've been so lucky that our sisters from the albinism umbrella and all the other albinism communities, they give us some of their sunscreens because we do not have the ones that we need to protect ourselves. Because you see, vitiligo, once you expose these macules to, you know, extreme sun, extreme heat, they will get blisters. So you need to protect yourself with sunscreen. So we give out those sunscreens to our members. And of course we advise them, for example, if you have it on your face, in your arms, and you know you're going to be walking in the sun, cover yourself, put on a hat, put on something, long sleeves, if you're going to be in the sun. But if it's like today, the weather is chill, show off yourself, you know. As the executive director, acting executive director of Vitiligo Association, first of all, I would like for vitiligo to be recognized as a health condition that should be mainstreamed in the health system of our country. Because once it is mainstreamed in the health system, it means these tubes that we use, these tablets that we are supposed to swallow, all those things are going to be available at all the health centers. So they will not be, the treatments will not become so expensive for our members. Maybe the sunscreens will be made available. I don't know, at least there will be a change, you know, once it is there. And also we need help to, there is no database of people living with vitiligo. So you cannot know the exact number of people living with vitiligo in Uganda. So we need to have a database of people living with vitiligo. Because once you know the number of people that have a problem and you listen to their stories and you know how they got a problem, you do studies, you know, that's when you know how to help them. Once you don't have that information, you can't help someone once you don't know what's going on. And also, because our members usually are affected by discrimination and stigma. So you find, I'll give you an example. One of our members got vitiligo while they were at a job. You know, it's a front desk job. And then she had to lose her job because she had vitiligo, because the clients were not comfortable associating with her. So that it's a private entity. We went and talked to the employers and told them, please, it's not a contagious disease, she can work. And the employers actually like her, she has been a very good employee, she's, you know, capable and all that. And then he let her stay. But then after some time, he called us and he was like, my clients are not comfortable with her, so I cannot let her stay. Because they see her and then they go to the next, you know, the next place. And then that level of discrimination, we need awareness to be created, because we believe once there is information out there, people know that the disease is not contagious. People know that the disease, you know, it's just an autoimmune disease, you know. We are not basezi, tetuli abantu, we are not casts, you know. People will be more willing to associate with us. And then the information basically needs to be available, so that the stigma ends. You see, when there are those campaigns, I will give you an example of the AIDS campaigns. You see, long time, people would, if you said someone has HIV, they would run away from you. But because there was information and it went out there, everyone knows it's just HIV. You know, I can eat with you and I won't get it. I will just sleep with my child and I won't give, you know. And, you know, it became okay for someone to be HIV positive. So, if once the information about vitiligo is out there, we believe parents will not neglect their children. We believe husbands will not chase away their wives or wives running away from their husbands, or, you know, like employers chasing away employees and clients not being comfortable with workers. Yeah, so we need the information to go out there. That's actually the most important thing. For me, what I would want is awareness.
It is obvious that more convenient and effective treatment options for vitiligo are desperately needed, as is much more research on the disorder as a whole. That is all we have time for this week. Catch you next week, same time.